I don't recognize that strategy for dealing with such a belief. That's not me. When the partner has a want, the partner is now forced into the role through basically trauma-based projective identification. That sounds complex. It's not really. It just means you've learned to think about the world and think about reality in a certain way. You start feeling your partner's feelings for them as though they were yours. And you will put feelings into them that they don't have. That's called projection. It's a very normal human thing to do. People with CPTSD do it more because imagine, let's say this poor person, let's imagine this is me. Again, it's good to use me as an example rather than me saying you all the time, saying me. So you can be objective and you can sit there. If you're a client, you should train yourself to think like a therapist, think like a coach, think like a counselor. So imagine I'm sat here and I'm going, well, I believe I'm a piece of shit. And I developed a relationship with a girl who actually really, really loves me. But I'm carrying the recording inside of myself as I'm not lovable. And I feel unlovable. And I say, I'm not lovable. And she's like, but I totally love you. She might do something like change the channel on the TV. And I'll be like, you did that because you hate me and you want me to leave right now. You're secretly hoping that I'll leave so that you can have sex with your lover that you've been with since day one. Yeah. Some of you are laughing and some of you are going, damn, that sounds like me. That sounds just like my life. It's not your fault that that plays out, but the fact that it plays out is part of emotional dysregulation. What I didn't say before, emotional dysregulation causes psychosis. I mean, I joke about this stuff because it helps people to like break through the sort of like the stickiness of the subject and to give them a new perspective. But when you are emotionally dysregulated and you're in a lot of intense emotional flashbacks, your perceptions get very, very, very distorted. I didn't realize until I made myself get help, which somebody with CPTSD can't usually do, and go to therapy. And the therapist made me do, she can't make me, but you know, she encouraged me to journal my thoughts and my feelings in a not very structured way. It wasn't the best piece of advice anybody's ever given me in therapy, but I noticed through journaling my thoughts and my feelings, I could go back a week or a month later and be like, I don't remember writing that. I remember I wrote something in a journal that was so alien to me that I was convinced for a while, I had a paranoid delusion that somebody had hacked my computer and had written it for me. Because I'd shown up as a person and had written a thing, and the other version of me, it's getting into dissociative identity disorder, not quite, but you know, pushing in that direction. And I was like, I don't recognize that. I don't recognize that belief. I don't recognize that strategy for dealing with such a belief. That's not me. So the boundaries break. And here's another way in which the boundaries break, not just between you and other people, but on the inside, between your own personalities, between who you are on different days, between what you think and what you feel. Now, this is very, very important, and it is where the world is going in a bad direction. If we want to get back to this place where we're feeling good, there's a supportive inner dialogue, and we're thriving, and you have an inner child that is in emotional dysregulation and in emotional flashbacks, it's going to be they're so intense, it's going to be very, very hard for you to tell the difference between what you think and what you feel. When you become emotionally re-regulated again, you have a boundaried approach to your inner world and you're like, I feel as though this person doesn't really like me, but logically, they've done this, this, and this, so I guess my inner Sherlock Holmes is kind of demanding that through pure crystal logic, the truth must be more like this than the way that I actually feel. Maybe I shouldn't trust the way I feel. Maybe the way I feel is rooted in childhood trauma. This is good supportive inner dialogue that is using critical thinking skills that allow us to lay down boundaries. When you are in pain or you need something, that's you are in pain and you need something. When you want something from me, you must ask me. Similarly, my boundaries are not just to be asserted with other people. My boundaries are to be asserted with myself. If I want something from somebody, the right way to go about getting it is to go into a good state and to ask them politely, please, to give me the thing that I want. This can be incredibly hard for people with CPTSD. It's hard for humans to do. So my hope is when you actually develop all of these skills fully and consciously, you'll actually be stronger, more conscious and more switched on and more capable than a normal person, a neurotypical person, whatever you think is the appropriate way to describe it. Or you could just say somebody who didn't go through what I went through in childhood, somebody who doesn't have long-lasting childhood trauma that's caused them to struggle to live a normal life. Once you've developed all these skills, you actually will have an advantage over people. Critical thinking is the ability to critique your own thinking style and to go, how do I know that that is true? I have just asserted that I believe that all X's are always Y. Has there ever been a case when an X wasn't a Y? Has there ever been a case when, it's actually thinking, becoming boundaried, boundaries between my thoughts and my feelings, boundaries between the different sides of myself, boundaries between myself and the outside world, boundaries between myself and with you. A lot of that comes down to critical thinking and the capacity to be clear, to draw your thinking, your crown chakra, Om Shanti Shanti, out of the morass of the emotional storm that's going on and go, aha, I can see things clearly now. Okay, the thing that is out of shot, it says emotional flashback management. The only thing that was missing, I think, was the word management there. Emotional flashback management. So we're actually going to look at developing a skill set that is specific to emotional flashbacks that allows us to tackle emotional flashbacks directly. The truth is, if you do this, you develop this, you have this, you develop this, and you develop this, you probably won't need this. Okay guys, that's it for this section. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.